So the easiest way to learn is using a symmetry tool, because in the end, you do want to have a little bit of asymmetry, but you don't have to. But the easiest way to have consistency over the entire thing is through a symmetry tool. So you kind of just sketch out what you want. You know what we're gonna do my cat girl. Yeah, we're gonna do my cat girl for this. So you start off with your sketch, and then for every part that you want to move individually, each part needs to be its own layer. So we're gonna start off with the head. Here's the head. Yeah, I'm gonna do my Neko, little human cat girl. Right, so I'm not doing anything terribly complex, just doing some basics. It's easiest if for every part, when you're done with it, make it into its own folder, because eventually you're going to condense it down into one part. And then for the eyes, if you only want a super small amount of work, you can make the eyes quite literally circles, right? You can just make them circles, just little, you know, you can make them like this, and then when you animate them, you could just literally make them blink like this, if you want. I am going to do slightly more complex because I want to kind of show more of the parts, but I won't do as many parts as I normally do. So on this, I have a top lid line, I have a bottom lid line, and then I have the pupil. Take the pupil, color it however you want. I have gold eyes. You can do all the coloring into one layer. I just start off with multiple layers, and then again it gets condensed down later. Because that's all going to be one piece, it is now in a folder by itself. I'm gonna hide that. And then if you're familiar with masking, the pupil needs to have something to mask onto, so I'm gonna make this eye white. That's gonna be like the inner eye, you know, so you go like this, tell it you're just gonna live on here. This goes underneath all the eye. And then lastly, for eyes, you're going to have some eyebrows. Ta-da! I make a bigger folder and then I name it. So that way, when you're going through all the different parts of your model, everything is within its own category. For the mouth, though, we're just gonna have, I'm gonna just do super simple. I'm gonna just do the top line. I'm gonna duplicate it so I have a top and bottom lip. Make that its own folder. The inner mouth, you just kind of, you can make whatever shape you want. It doesn't really matter because it's gonna get deformed to be the proper shape. And then you're just gonna make a tongue, which I just make it like a heart shape. And then I do, like, the back of the mouth, another heart shape. And then on top, this is where I kind of use a easy peasy border tool for the teeth if I'm being kind of lazy. Because you can use the border tool, and, you know, let me just make the teeth just right. You can use the border tool and just have the teeth however you want. So we're gonna have the teeth a little bit curved. Looks terrifying, don't worry about it. Making models is supposed to be kind of cursed. And then I just hide this because there's no reason to look at. Ooh. So sorry. Scared the bejesus out of me. Trust the process, absolutely. Trust the process, very important. They look like Hannibal Lecter at the moment. I love them. Are you kidding me? What did you say to me? I look like Hannibal Lecter. I'm not going to do anything terribly complex for the hair. I'm just literally going to give the impression of hair, right? Because again, this is just to show that you can literally make anything out of very little. Paste. Put that in its own layer. This reference layer. Paste. I'll add just a little shading. Just a little gradient, just to kind of give it a little dimension. So this is how far we are so far. And we're at 22 layers, which is kind of more than I intended so far. But these layers do condense down because for every like 3 layers, it ends up being one piece. Next, because I have this as my cat girl, I'm gonna do this on here too. Okay, now I am just making the neck. I have a terrible habit of making a little head on the neck because I like to do this. So we're gonna keep that spirit alive because I am nothing if not teaching people how to be a little bit of a monstrosity. That's just what needs to happen. All right, so we have the neck. Now we're gonna do the body. You're going to want to try and work your way up to having 3 sections: the rib cage, the tummy, and the pelvis. So that way, when you go to move, you have the most flexible, and you're gonna want to have the pieces underneath and then the clothing on top. But for example purposes, I am going to have the outfit as 1 layer. If you ever want to change outfits or do small design changes, you can just change the clothes on top and still have a fully functioning design underneath. So here's the shirt. We'll have some tummy out. Have a belt. So that's the top of the body, and then I'll do legs. The legs, you'll eventually want to have an upper leg, a lower leg, and then feet. But that's just kind of, you'll kind of figure out what you need based off of how much movement you want to have. All right, so now I'm just doing a basic color on the outfit. Ta-da! See, so just like that, that's technically everything you need for the model. Plus some. Like you could totally make it simpler than that. Okay. Oh, I haven't even saved this yet. All right, let me save this. You're gonna save it as whatever your regular saving is. And when you're done with all of your art and you're ready to start condensing down, you're gonna save it again as a Photoshop file. Very important. It requires a Photoshop file, but don't save a copy as a Photoshop file until you're ready to move on. We've made all these different folders and all these layers. If you're using Clip Paint Studio, when you save it as a Photoshop file and then you close it and reopen it, if you have anything clipped onto the layer below it, for some reason, for me, it stops working. It stops clipping and masking properly. So I condense it in one sitting. And if I can't condense it in one sitting, it just causes problems. So we're gonna merge the layers. If you create your VTube model and then you have spaces in the names, then it'll start naming everything art mesh. And if you ever need to edit the file in VTube Studio, it is a nightmare to find it. I'm gonna merge them. So bangs 1 is one single layer. And then as you're going down it, just turn off the layer. Here's ears. I merged it all the way down so that it's one layer, and then I'm gonna copy paste so that way there's ears and an ears copy. Lips are already one upper lip. Lips are already their own layer, so lower lip. Inner mouth. You know what? I'm gonna do cheeky. I'm gonna do something real cheeky. We're gonna just I'm gonna add a little fangs. Okay. This I am going to make a new layer and merge it just because I used the border effect and I prefer to merge it into a non-bordered layer when I'm going to condense. I don't think it makes a difference. Copy paste, delete. So this is top teeth, bottom teeth. So turn that off. Tongue, back of mouth, inner mouth. So now we've got all that. Brows, lower lash line, upper lash line, and then this is the pupil, so we're just gonna do pupil, and then wait. And then once we have that, we're going to take the entire folder and we're going to duplicate it because we want a right and a left eye. Ta-da! And then the head is 1, so merge selected layer. The neck is 1, so we're gonna do that. The body is 1, so you can just literally merge. Legs, I would suggest once you're done merging the legs, you can where's my pen? Sorry, I'm like moving between using my pen and my my mouse depending on what function I'm doing. Copy paste, delete. Like you can separate the legs further if you want, or you could even cut them directly in the middle, clean this up, right? You can also just instead go like that. And then you can fix that itty bitty little seam. Merge. So now you have a full model. Ta-da! And now you can save it. And then what you do is you open up the editor. And then we are going to open up the Photoshop file. Also, I'm really sorry. The text on this is like itty bitty bitty bitty, like super itty bitty. So on this side closest to my model is going to be all of your parts hierarchy, and that's all of your parts at a glance. It'll show you what folders they're in for movement. On the other side over here is your Photoshop file layers as they were imported, and then how you move them around and copy paste them. Here is going to be tool details, the inspector, so that way if you need to change opacity, things like that. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Dang, I thought I put the pupils. Hold on. The pupils, I did not merge. So let me fix that. I copy, merge, save it again. We're gonna try this again. There we go. And then here are the parameters. This is a whole lot of parameters. So what I do is I start off by making 6 folders. I do eyes, mouth, wiggle, cis, expressions, and unused. That is immediately the folders that I make. So I take the Hair move, and I put those into wiggle. Breath, I put into mouth. The body, I put into axis. Currently, we're only going to be working for mouth. We're just going to do mouth form and mouth open. We're going to put cheek, brow form, brow angle into unused. Brow Y is what we want. We're going to put that into eyes. This brow we're going to put into unused. Eyeball, X and Y goes into eyes. We're not going to worry about eye smile right now, so we can get rid of that. I don't delete them. I don't delete them because if you ever decide you want to come back later, it's easier to just pull them out of the unused folder than to have to make a whole new parameter. And then the axis goes into axis. So I open, oh no, one of my eye open disappeared. Here it is. See, that's exactly why you put it into the unused instead of manually deleting, because if you put it in the wrong place, you could just pull it back out. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hide the scary parts. We're also gonna make them bald. And I'm also taking away your ears because I wanna focus on the face. So the first thing we wanna do is we wanna make them blink. So you're just gonna select here all of these items. To start with, we're gonna click up here. It's gonna be a triangle and it says auto. It's gonna give the automatic mesh. I'm just going to do a standard. It is best to make your own meshes, and I am not very good at that yet. I still have to practice making my own meshes, but an automatic mesh will be good enough. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to hide the pupil and the eye white so we can focus on the eyelids. So as you can see, it's a beautiful arch like this. Very, very easy way to handle this is there's going to be up the top here, there's going to be like an arch with a circle dot. It's going to say deform path edit. You're going to highlight it and you're just going to kind of you're going to just drop in some points. Doesn't have to be this many, right? You definitely want to have one on either end, but you just kind of have to feel out how many you need. And if you need less, you can always delete them. And then here is deform path width. So when it's kind of hard to see, but there are red circles and blue circles that are expanding and contracting based off of whether I'm dragging this number in the deform path width in the inspector tool, because if you click it and you drag it, it'll make it bigger or smaller. You just kind of want to make it as small of circles as you can, while every single one of these dots in here is covered. Now that you have this all set up, you're gonna pick IL or IR open. It doesn't matter which, just pick one. And you're gonna choose under parameters. It's gonna say add 2 keys. You're gonna do that, and it's gonna give you a dot on either side. I personally will make an additional point by going to 0.8, and then when you hover over it, if it doesn't give it to you, just click on a different parameter and then click back on it, and it'll have a little green arrow next to it. Unfortunately, it doesn't show it on my screen on streaming screen because it's like a sub window, but there's going to be a little green circle with a plus, a grayed out circle with a line going through it with a minus. You're going to do the green plus because that's adding a point. The reason why I do that at 0.8 is because 1 is fully open. If my eyes are not perfectly open, it has a little bit of wiggle room before the eye starts closing. And then, and I make that before I start fussing with the animation at all. That way it stays exactly how I want it. And then I'm gonna go to 0, which is on the side closest to the name of the parameter. That's gonna be closed. Oops. If you find that it's like dragging the point, but not the mesh, you just Control Z it, and then just make sure at the top here you're gonna click the arrow tool. And you're just gonna, so that way it actually moves it. But now we're gonna tell it what we want it to look like when it's closed. So I'm just literally dragging this into the shape that I want. You can even have it go the complete opposite way. See, you can have it go like that for the blink, and then you can also move it down. If you want more of like that curve of the blink, or if you prefer, here, I'll just undo it all. Hold on. Or you could just literally scoot the points down so that the curve is not as big. So that way, you know, you can have it so that it stays more in that same shape. Me personally, hold on, I'm gonna go to modeling at the top. I'm gonna go to modeling, and then I'm gonna say edit form, and then I'm gonna say revert to original, because I personally prefer. Also, if you find that you keep dragging around the whole thing like this, you could just press that X button and it'll just get rid of that red moving the whole layer. I personally prefer this curve for my closed eyes. This is the tool at the top where it's a circle with a brush, and it's called the deform brush tool. So if you just need to pull things in or out just a little bit, it can help you just kind of scoot things over. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the lower lash line. See? But wait, Cat, I hear you say. What about the inner eye? Have no fear, that's next. What we're going to do is the same. We're going to take it, put the 2 parameters on either side, 0.08, add a point, and then close. And then this one is going to be a lot less precise. You're just going to literally drag it until it's closed like this. And then just like with the eyelid, we're going to add some deformer parameters. I'm sure that there's better ways to do this, but this is how I do it. And we're just going to drag it into the shape that we want. And then we're going to go up and down this line, and we're just going to make sure that there's no points where it's like super out of whack. But it looks like it's just fine. So we don't have to change anything. But if at some point you find it's really out of alignment, you can just go to that point, hit enter on it, so that way it perfectly centers it, and then you can add an extra point, and then you can move it around however you might need to. And with this deformed tool, it's gonna kind of look really kind of weird and wonky, and that's fine. We don't care what this line looks like right now. The only thing that matters is that it looks good where it needs to be. It's gonna do its own thing, the rest of the parameters, so we're not worried about that. So now we have the pupil, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the eye white, we're going to copy the ID, it's going to have the name, and then it's going to have the ID. If you use no spaces when you name the layer, the name is going to be the layer name that you gave it, and if you did it correctly, the ID should match it pretty similar. You're going to copy that, and you're going to go to the pupil. It's going to have a box in the middle-ish here. It's going to say clipping ID. You're just going to paste that, hit enter. And now, oh no, cat, it disappeared. No, it didn't. It's hidden. It's now only showing where the eye white is showing. If you didn't want to have all these different parts and you just wanted to have like a black eye with the white shines in it, here, I'm gonna go to it, we're gonna hit standard. You could technically do a super simplified blink instead by just having it go whoop, like this, and then just move it up. And you can if you end up only wanting like a simple blink like this, you can make just this look really good too. You can so it just kind of depends on what you prefer, on what makes sense to you. And then if you want to have eyebrows move, you can. You're just gonna select the brow, L or R, Y, doesn't matter. I would suggest do the same one as this, as whatever you did for this. And then in the middle, you're gonna tell it to, instead of doing the 2 points, you're gonna do add 3 key points, and it's gonna make a dot on the either side and then one in the middle. The one in the middle you're gonna leave alone. That is its original starting point. That's its neutral. For the eyebrows, the middle is its neutral point. If you go to the left, closest to the words, it's going to be down. On the right, closer to the number, it's gonna be up. So you're just gonna scoot it one way or the other if you want. If you want it to, you can have it move as much or as little as you want, you know. And then if I put these two next to each other, so, you know, so they just kind of hang out. They're just kind of hanging out, you know. And then I'm just gonna take all of this, I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna go in, I'm going to copy and paste. Sometimes when you copy and paste, it's gonna give you a deformer circle, like with an angle, and that's honestly super nice. I know that there's better ways to do like the mirroring, but 9 times out of 10, I just do it like this. When you are selected on the deformer, you're going to right click so it pulls this up, and you're gonna tell it flip, and then it's gonna, there's gonna be a box that appears, and it's going to say flip horizontally or vertically. You're gonna do it horizontally, and then you're gonna hit OK, and then it's gonna flip it, and then you're just gonna drag that to be right exactly on top of the original. And then you can delete this deformer. You can delete the unwanted ones. And now, bye-bye. And then if you just highlight both of the pupils, and you go to eyeball X, make 3 key points. This is gonna help you so that the eyeball can move around. Just like with the eyebrows, the middle point is going to be neutral. And then with this, the x-axis is left, right. So this is going to be on the side closest to the words, it's gonna be the left. You can move it a little bit this way, and then you go to the far side and move it the other way. So that way it's got the different sides. And then if you click on the hamburger lines and you hit reset to default, it'll bring you back to neutral. While they're still highlighted, go to eyeball Y and make 3 keyforms. just like for the eyeball X. Middle, again, is default. On the left side closest to the words is going to be down. And then closest to the numbers is going to be up. So you're just going to have it go up and down. Reset to default values. So that way, again, it's in the middle. And you're going to highlight both the X and the Y. And you're going to go back to the hamburger options and you're going to synthesize corners. It's going to create a pop-up on the parameters. Parameter 1 will be your eyeball X, your parameter 2 will be eyeball Y, and then you're just going to leave everything like it should just default to doing all the corners. All 4 corners should be selected and everything. So you should just be able to let it do its thing. And then when you're looking around, ta-da! So now you blink. Now you look around. Ta-da! Now we want to have talk. So we're going to select the lips. We're going to just do the standard art mesh. And then just like before with the eye line, we're going to just add a deformer path. Try and make it as similar on both sides as you can. Like the same amount of points on one side as the other side. So if you have it like that, you know, best as you can, you know. And then you're going to take both of them and we can close this eyes. We're going to open up mouth. We're not going to worry about too much in regards to mouth form today. I'll show you how to do it, but that's not going to be the priority. For mouth form, you're going to do three keyforms. If you were to go all the way to the left on the side where it's the mouth form, that's going to be for your frown. So if you want to have like a little frownies, the middle is neutral, and then closest to the side is going to be a smile. And then go ahead and select them both again. We're going to do point by point. Mouth open at 0.0, we're going to make a point. And then we're going to go to the middle, to the 0.5, and we're going to make another point. When you're doing the mouth open, if you're doing multiple keyframes, do them one at a time, because as you go from one direction to the other, it will make it easier. If you make all 3 points, you're saving that default point as that keyframe that you've created. So like, here's what that looks like. If you were to make 3 points and then move these points like this on this side, but then you go here and here, the other 2, it doesn't matter what you've done here. Compared to if you move them here, if you move them here and then you make a new keyframe, it remembers and then you move forward from there. So we're gonna do the upper lip. We're just gonna open it just a little bit on the top. This is at the halfway point of it being open, so we are going to have more movement in the bottom lip, but the bottom lip, but not the top lip. The top lip we don't move too much. So you can have them be fancy and have multiple mouth shapes. After I do this, I'll show y'all what it looks like to do a simple mouth. But of course, I can't never do nothing just like, I can't never just be simple about nothing. You just, you know, kind of open it up a little bit here and there. Because if you do something like that, obviously this is just like a really quick, you know, you've got different shapes. But if you were to instead want default, if you end up just wanting to do a basic open and close, you can select all this. Just a mouth open is fine. You can do 2 keyframes, closed, open. You don't have to worry about nothing. Sometimes you'll think that the lips look bad, and then sometimes it's just because you need the inner mouth first, and sometimes you just need the inner mouth in order to have some kind of reference point of what you want it to look like. So we're gonna take that inner mouth, I'm just gonna give it the standard. This is going to be done opposite of the lips. I start the lips closed and then open them, but when it comes to the mouth, the inner mouth, I start open and then I make it work to closed, because when you close it, you start compressing all the points. It's harder to pull them apart. So for that, it's better to work backwards. You just take it and then you go mouth open. So it has the 2 points. And you're just going to drag it around. This is where that circle up here really comes in handy. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I did say I was going to do this in an hour, and then I got really yappy, and now I'm going very complex. I apologize. This is like, I can do this in an hour. I'm showing the extra little steps just because I feel like it matters to see the complex version and then how simple you can make it. But see, just like that. And if you notice, there's a couple points in here, like at that halfway point where it starts kind of leaking out. So you make a new key point and then you scooch it in. And then you just check around. Everything good? Everything's good. Great. Inner mouth. See, I did not do the proper naming on the inner mouth, so it named it art mesh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy inner mouth. I'm going to paste it. And then I'm just gonna, oh, the ID is already being used. Oh my god. Inner mouth 1. And then we're gonna copy it. We're gonna select all of these, clipping mask, and then that way, ta-da! Now they're all where you want it to be. Turn this off. The inner mouth and everything, the stuff all, just scoot that down. But now we're gonna do the teeth. I literally, all I'm doing to do that is you just hide the layer it's clipped onto. Then you just turn it back on. Ta-da! You can make it so that way at this in-between point where they're like where you would smile, you can add that extra point and then scoot it up to where you want. So that way, if you're smiling, like hee hee hee, it keeps the teeth together more. You don't have to. Ba, ba. Ah. Nah, nah, nah. If you don't like how much teeth is showing here, just scoot it down. You don't want to move the upper teeth, though. The upper teeth stay still because that part of your head doesn't move. All right, now we're just gonna do hair. Ears. Oh, you can also delete this paper in the background. So that's technically at the bare bones of it. Your model can look around and can talk. And then from there you can add movement if you would like. So how you do that is you just, once again, you're gonna reduce everything down to just the head. And then you're going to go up here. It's gonna look like a deformed square with points on it. It's gonna say create warp deformer. You're gonna name it head x x y, and then I just do warp division 5x5 and then Bezier 5x5, and we're gonna go to axis. We're gonna do super simple on this, right? We're gonna do angle x. Just like with the eyes and the eyebrows, you're gonna make 3 points. The middle is going to be 0, and that is going to be default. So all the way to the left, closest to angle X, the words, is gonna be turning left. You're just gonna move the whole thing. And then you're going to, for a head, you can kind of scooch it around if you want. Kind of give it that classic chibi head shape if you so desire. So you go, oh, you know what? I like that. Make sure that you have it highlighted on the whole thing, and then you can do something really simple. You go up to modeling, and then go down to parameter, and then you're gonna say motion mirroring, and it's just gonna literally flip it to the other side. And then you're gonna go and open up the eye parameters, and you can do the same thing, eyes, x, x, y. And then you're gonna make parameter I, x, x, y. And you're gonna take them, same thing. The only difference is because the eyes are on their own parameter, you cannot do the motion mirroring. You're just gonna have to manually drag them over. So you're gonna drag them over, and then you just kind of squeeze and pull based off of what they would look like in that angle. And then you're gonna reset to default. And then you're gonna do the same with the mouth. I would suggest using the mouth open. So that way the deformer is easier to use. So we're gonna say lips, x, x, y, and then highlight all of the inner mouth, and then inner mouth, x, y, because you wanna have them separately. Even if you're just forming them at the same time, you want to have them separate because it is a lot easier to tweak a small adjustment on one side, on one layer, than the other. Because if it's all in one warp deformer, you marry them together and you can't do one without the other, and that can get really frustrating. So you just drag it over and then pull it in. See how on this, the teeth are really deforming kind of bad. So that's where you can do this independently. You should be able to mirror it. Let's see. Ta-da! Just like that, it's mirrored. And then when you test out, and it looks like the inner mouth when it's closed is a little bit broken. So just take it and you just whoop, just a little bit. All right. And then after that, we have the hair. I would recommend having this as its own, each one of these bangs as their own deformer. So you're gonna take them and just the same, back on angle X. You got them both highlighted. Just scoot them over. This, I would highly recommend using the arrow keys, because you can do an exact up, down, left, right kind of movement. And then if you want that extra bit of dimension, when you get them to this side, you can make them wider. When you get to that side, you can make it a little bit narrower. So that way you kind of get that stretch and pull. All right, and then there's that. If you do decide to do something fancy like having ears, it does not have to be complicated. I promise. I promise. You can quite literally just do the same thing as with the bangs. Just take them, angle X in the middle, and scoot them one way. See? Now, if you're testing it, now they're looking left and right. You can leave it there if you want to. But if you don't want to, then once again, disappear everything back down to the head. And you're gonna go angle Y. I prefer to make a separate warp deformer for it. So I highlight the original warp deformer that I did X, and then I make a new warp deformer on top of that. And then you go to angle Y, 3 points. And then just like with the eyes, closest to the words is going to be down. So you just move it down a little bit, and then you move it up a little bit, not too much. And your eyes, and your corners. And just the same. Just go down a little bit. When the eyes go down, I tend to make them a little bit bigger. What I did to pull it on all angles is when I am dragging it, I'm also holding the left Alt, which will pull it in all directions. Here, I'll do just a little bit of a squish. And then let's see just what that looks like if I have that. I did a little bit too much on the eyes, I think. Yeah, I think I did too much on the eyes. That's okay. If that ever happens, you just do and redo, and then you test it out without all the extra stuff. What? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Hold on. I accidentally put the up-down movement on the same one of these. Hold on. So I had it on this one and this one, and that would be my whole problem. Okay, let's try it again. Ta-da! All better. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the same approach where, like with the eyes, I made a new deformer on top of it. Now I'm doing a new deformer on the mouth. Again, opening it up. Angle Y. This is the most fun part, is when you start moving the head but the mouth hasn't quite caught up yet. So then you just take it. I might have moved all of this a little too high, but because you can see the back of the neck. That is super easy to change. If you don't want to change how high up the head goes, you can simply add some neck stretch, which is neck X, Y. Just take that, and then you just add, and then you could just literally, nobody ever has to know. You don't have to do that. It just happens to be that because I have a funny, goofy neck with the head on it, You know, I've got this. So it kind of makes that weird shape, but it's fine. With the ears, we're gonna do, oh, God, I gotta stop doing that. You're just gonna press Alt, and then you can drag it a little bit bigger. You don't wanna drag it too much bigger, because otherwise you start getting like really weird deformer issues. But you can get away with making them a little bit bigger like that, see? Just a little bit. The bangs, if you decided to do one deformer for the bangs for the y-axis, that would be fine because they don't really need to be separate at this point. But yeah, hopefully y'all end up finding this super helpful and a way to not be so intimidated by the idea of making your own VTubers, because this is super fun and you can get a lot done with not a lot of parts. Let me just export it and show y'all what it looks like. Export for runtime, and then you're just gonna export it into that folder that you dedicated, and then you're gonna copy that entire folder and you're gonna post it into your live 2D models folder, and now we're gonna test it. First thing it's gonna ask is, how do you want to set it up? You're just gonna do auto setup. Ta-da! So this is what it looks like so far. So as you can see, it's not super doing a whole lot, but it is we do be moving. Oh, I forgot. I forgot that on here we did say that we were gonna fix this seam. Hold on. Grab the legs. Standard. Take one of them. I got a seam. There we go. If anybody decides that you want to be able to do like the head tilt, like the where like if you tilt your head towards your shoulders, if you ever want to do that, what you can do is I just clicked there is a button here under this list of parts with the hierarchy. There's a button that is an arrow to close all of the deformers, and then you just highlight the ones you want. And if you do a rotation deformer, which is, it's a circle with like a triangle coming out of it, it's called a create rotation deformer, and we're just gonna call it head ax. We're gonna call it ax Z or Z, depending on where in the world you are from. So just gonna kind of create it right in the middle of all the parts. If you click Control and drag, you can drag it to where you want it. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to do the angle Z deformer. Just as everything else, the middle point is the default on this one. And then you just kind of tilt this way. And it really doesn't take much to add all this extra movement in. The physics of it can start getting complicated. Like here, we'll do neck and the head Z deformer, and then we're gonna make another, we're gonna call it head neck, and go like that. Sometimes it doesn't like it. Sometimes it's a bully. Okay, it wants me to do it. If you have a part inside another deformer, you have to go up the hierarchy. So I have the neck as an angle Y. So we're gonna try that again, but with the proper. So head, neck, that, pull it down. And if you do that, what'll happen is it'll move everything. So then that way you can have the neck moving a little bit too. And then if you ever really want to just test out, you can export this as much as you want. Just keeping in mind that it's not easy to go back to a previous iteration unless you back up the entire folder. I'm going to test out this new version. See? I'm gonna show y'all how to do a little bit of body movement, and then that'll basically be it. So for some basic movement in the body, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, first and foremost, make sure that all of the parts have an art mesh. We're gonna do body axe X. With the body, there is a specific body axis for XYZ, but for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna put it all under the head movement. So we're just gonna put it all under the head movement. I put it under its own warp deformer. So for this, we're gonna take the whole body, we're gonna scoot the whole body over a little bit, and then we're gonna take half and we're gonna tilt it in, and then we're gonna go on the middle and tilt it over. So rockabye, baby, rockabye. I'm gonna rock you, rockabye, baby, don't you cry. But I want the middle to kind of stay the same. So we're just gonna scoot all of this so that like the belt stays in the same spot. And then we're gonna take it, click on the layer, the deformer, so that it has the red box around the whole thing. Modeling parameter, motion mirroring, and then okay, so that it mirrors on the other side. The neck also needs that, so we're gonna do neck axe X and then create. Okay, and then for the arms, what I do for the arms, instead of using, I don't always use a deformer mesh. Sometimes I'll just use the rotation arm axe X, and then I'll move it up to the top. Again, to move the rotation deformer, you click on the control, and then you can drag it wherever you want. And then you just stop. I have arms. Oh, okay. Hold on. I see this. I not did it. Okay. But you can move the arm as much or as little as you want. X. You should probably name them arm R or L, right or left, depending on which one you're doing. That would be the smarter thing. But making sure that you're naming them in general is the bigger thing. As long as they're kind of named in general, you can usually figure it out. You make more work for yourself if you're not naming them right and left. Ta-da! And then if we decide the entire body now also is going to move with the angle Z. Let me see, do we want to do that? Yeah, why not? Body X Z. The squish and pull is a little off. We're not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna worry about that. This is for demonstration purposes only. And then I'm not even gonna see what it looks like. I'm just gonna run it. I wanna find out what it looks like with y'all. Oh, that doesn't look so bad actually. And then lastly, as my correspondent pointed out, let's get some wiggle physics. To do wiggle physics, you're just gonna go to the item, you're gonna make a new deformer. We'll say bangs wiggle. and we're gonna create. And then we're gonna go to this. We're gonna do same thing. Bangs, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And then you're just gonna go to the top hair movement. You're gonna 3 points. You're just gonna highlight like the bottom half of it, and then you're just gonna tilt it and swing it over one side. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other axis. You're just gonna literally grab the bottom half of it, swing it over, and then swing it one way and then the other. And then you're just gonna do both sides. And then you're gonna reset to default. You're gonna go down to the next layer, or the next parameter, sorry. And then you're just gonna take that same amount. You're gonna, that halfway point, and you're gonna scoot it up, and then you're gonna scoot it down. And then you have to go to, at the top, it's gonna say modeling physics settings. You're gonna click it. It's gonna bring us to this that I've been testing. It's gonna say group. It's gonna say add. It's gonna be like the only thing you can click. We're gonna just wiggle. It's gonna ask you to name it, and then we're gonna do head input and then physics model settings. I'm gonna say triple pendulum and then hit OK. And then here you can see it's got the pendulum, but nothing's moving yet. You're gonna click output settings. So here it's gonna be output settings, add, and then it's gonna ask you what you want to add. The box doesn't pop up, but you can, if you have all of your wiggle settings in a folder, you can click that whole folder and then it'll just drop everything in. And now, ta-da-da! And you can have that move as much or as little as you want. It did not export the physics settings. If that ever happens, you just export physics settings. So instead of the MOC3 file, it has one just for the physics file, and then you say yes, and then you just export just that. And then you can take that, drop it in your VTube folder, and then you just unload and reload it. Quick crash course of what it's like to make a VTuber live. Proof that it can be done in less time than you would expect.